Hello, subscribers. Ziad Eldred here. I want to talk about the importance of cycling shoe brands. And what I mean is, I ride Giro shoes. I have a lot of guys that ride CD. There are a lot of people, some people ride Mavic or whatever. Whatever brand you ride, the important thing is to make sure it works for your foot, the shape of your foot. I have what they call flat feet. I don't have much of an arch, okay? Not much. So I used to ride CDs, and when I did, I had to put an insert in the arch because CD has an arch. I had to fill that to make sure that the shoe hugged my feet. So over time, I came across Giro shoes and found out that the last is the what they use to cut the shape of the sole of the shoe. The last of Giro shoes are made to where they work better with for people like me out of the box. I don't need to put any of their supernatural fit things that they ship with them to accommodate other people that have more arches or whatever. So out of the gate, it just works for my feet. I don't need a custom sole or anything. I don't need a custom footbed with Giro shoes. Now, what I mean when I say the importance of the brand is, when I went from CD to Giro shoes, these are my Giro shoes here. One of them anyway. This is the Pro SLX. When I went from CD to Giro shoes, I had to accommodate the fact that the thickness of the sole is different. CD was actually higher than the Giro shoes. So what that did is, you put on the Giro shoes and my saddle seemed higher because I was closer to the pedal with the Giro shoe. With the CD, I was sitting higher. So I had to lower my saddle about 4 millimeters thereabout. I did it gradually just to confirm. I'm very anal, so I used a caliper and I measured the thickness of this sole, because they don't give you these numbers. You can look online, you can call them. These manufacturers are just tight-lipped about stuff. They don't give you the different thickness of the different soles between the brands. So I just measured the thickness of the Giro, I measured the thickness of the CD, and the difference was 4 millimeters. I lowered my saddle 4 millimeters and it was spot on. So the significance of what I just discussed is, if you're going to be switching shoes, be careful, because if you have a shoe currently that you like, that suits your foot, because that was the reason I switched. I had to accommodate CD's high arch. So once I switched to Giro, the reason I switched was, I don't have to do anything with these shoes out of the box. This is just their standard sole, the cheap little one that comes. That's all I use, and it fits my foot like a glove. It's a size 45. I didn't have to do anything. So that was the reason for me switching. Then I found out with the thickness, I had to accommodate the different sizes in the sole. So you don't want to switch shoes on a whim. If you're going to switch, there needs to be a strong reason, and then you need to make sure that you adjust your position to accommodate the difference. Then once you switch shoes and you find one that works, if you buy another shoe, stick with that brand or something similar. Meaning, I have other shoes. For example, I got this on sale from Rafa, and the reason I bought this was because Giro makes the sole, so the thickness is the same. So that's what I'm trying to get you guys to see, is that when you're buying shoes, you got to make sure that you stay with your brand. You can't go and buy a Physique and then buy a CD and all of that. It's going to mess up your fit. So keep that. That's the significance of the brand. And I'm not switching to anything ever again, because my experience with Giro's customer service has just been awesome. They don't know me from Adam. I got the shoes online, and I had a pair that for some reason there was a defect that started separating some glued part. The shoe I just showed is actually the replacement. So basically, I went online on Google, I pulled up, I just searched for Giro customer service, got an 800 number, called them, told them I had this shoe. This is the replacement. It's about a month old. I said, I have the Pro SLX 2. I've only used it for a few months. It was like 5 or 6 months. And it's separating. And basically it was separating here, right there, where the white meets the sole. There was a gap. So it was separating and lifting from the sole of the shoe. There was a hole there, but you couldn't see in the shoe. But it was just going to get worse. So all they said was, send us a picture. So I sent the picture, with the iPhone now, it's great. I sent the picture. She called me back the next day and said, okay, put the shoe in a box, send it to this address. She took my address over the phone. 2 weeks later, a new pair of shoes just showed up. I didn't have to call anybody. Nobody called me. There were no big, snafu over anything. I just got a brand new pair of shoes with a box and everything. Exact size, everything. I didn't have to send in a receipt, nothing. And I think that they wanted the shoe back to make sure it was their product and not a copy. Because and I was like, I went out of my way and called back and tried to get the lady I spoke to, because, once you call the 800 numbers, you don't really get, because I wanted to just let them know that, people usually call customer service when they have a problem, but I was calling to just let them know, like, wow, that was awesome. Because I expected to have to go find the online sales receipt or something of that matter. Nada. They just send me a new shoe. And I was like, okay, they got a customer for life. But yeah, so I use the Giro shoe. All my shoes are Giro shoes for that very reason. You can't just switch brands. You got to know you got to know that the sole is the same thickness, and not all of them are. So you got to make sure before you start trying different shoes. Okay, that's what I wanted to discuss today: the significance of the different brands of shoes. Thanks for tuning in, and be safe on the roads.